Hey Math 8, today we are going to go ahead and do day 2 of our algebra prep. Yesterday we did, or I guess last class we did, solving systems of equations using graphing. Today we are also going to be solving systems of equations, but today we're going to use the substitution method instead. Alright, so we'll go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so the first thing is just kind of an idea of what the substitution method is. The substitution method can be used to find solutions of a system of equations as long as at least one equation is solved for a variable, meaning either we have y equals or we have x equals on one of those equations. All right, so for example, we have one right here where we have y equals x minus 3 and y equals 2x. It asks us to solve the system of equations using the substitution method. Okay, now you're going to notice that we have y equals and y equals. All right, so we can decide which one we would like to use as like the equation that we're going to plug into. All right. I think I picked this one if I remember right. So step 1 for this is going to be, since y is equal to 2x, you can substitute for y in the first equation with 2x. Okay, so I was actually wrong. I did the other one. I used this one. Okay, and I'm just going to show my work off to the right side where I've got that little blank for your work. Okay, so because y is equal to 2x, which we see right here, that means 2x, everywhere that we have y in this equation, we can just put 2x instead. All right, so we start with y equals x minus 3, but then we can change that because of this to 2x equals x minus 3. Okay, because 2x and y are the same thing. All right, so there's step 1. Okay, step 2 is to go ahead and solve for x. All right, so in order to do that, I want all my variable terms on one side, all of my numbers on the other side. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides here. That's going to leave me with x equals negative 3. All right. And that makes this one pretty easy, right? Because now we don't have to do anything else. We already have x. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3 says plug your solution for x into either of your original equations. All right, I like to go ahead and plug into the one that we didn't use. All right, so that would be the y equals 2x for this one. All right, so we'll put y equals 2x, but instead of x, we have negative 3, right? Because we found out that x is just negative 3 right there. So we can go ahead and pull that down to here. And now we just need to solve for y. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. All right. So we've got our x and our y. And then our last step, step 5, is to write your solutions for x and y as an ordered pair. All right, so that's just going to be negative 3 and negative 6. That's our ordered pair. I know that's pretty small. I'll rewrite it here as well, in case you needed to see that one too. Okay, so that is how we that's how we solve using a system of equations using the substitution method. All right, so what I want you to go ahead and do now is try out both of these got it problems. Try out A and B. Hopefully you followed along with the steps. If so, it should be pretty easy. You can just go through them again to make sure you have the right steps and they are ready to go for the got it problem. So go ahead and try that, pause the video, and then we will come back and move on after that. All right, so hopefully those went pretty well for you. We are going to look at another just standard example of this. We have y equals 2x minus 14 and y equals 5 plus 2x. Really the only difference here is that we're going to end up just having more steps. All right, so I'm going to start out by taking this equation, and since we have y by itself, we can go ahead and plug the 2x minus 14 in for this y. Okay, so that's going to be right here, y equals 5 plus 2x. The y we can get rid of and change to 2x minus 14. Okay, again, that comes from this, equals 5 plus 2x, and you actually don't need the parentheses here, which is nice. So then from here we're just solving a normal multi-step equation. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and add 14 to both sides. Okay. All right, so there we've added both sides, 14, and then we have 2x equals 19 plus 2x, and you might see it now already, but we can go ahead and stop, or we can keep going if you don't see it. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Okay, and that's going to cancel both of these 2x's. So that's going to give me 0 equals 19. All right, now you might see that and think, well, hold on, 0 doesn't equal 19, and you would be correct. Okay, because 0 does not equal 19, this tells us that there is no solution. All right. This is similar to yesterday, how if we had parallel lines, it was a no solution problem. If you were to graph these two equations up here, and I'll highlight those for you again. If you were to graph these two equations on a graph, you would notice that they are also parallel. Okay, and because of that, they would be no solution. So you can see there's two different ways that we can tell. I would personally suggest you use the substitution method for problems like this where we have 14 or negative 14 as the y-intercept, because that's going to be quite the large graph if you try to do that one. So that is a no solution example. All right, so the next one, we have a problem that says solve the system of equations using the substitution method. Again, this time you're going to notice, though, that they are not both in the form of y equals, which means we don't really get a choice on which one to use to plug in. Okay. Now, one thing you could do here is you could simplify this one so that you have y by itself. Or I guess it wouldn't be necessarily simplify. It would be putting it into slope-intercept form is what it would be. You could do that. However, it's not necessary because we already have one that's in the form we need. Okay, so we can just take this x plus 3 and bring it into our example over here. And we can just plug in here. So we have 2x plus 2, and then instead of y, we'll put x plus 3, which again comes from right here, equals 38. Okay, and then we're going to have multiple steps for this problem. All right, so the next thing we need to do here is to go ahead and distribute the 2 to the parentheses. All right, so we're going to have 2x plus 2 times x is just 2x again. 2 times 3 is 6. Whoops. Okay, and then equals 38. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and combine the two x's, and that's going to, when I add those together, give me 4x. And I'm going to subtract the 6 in the same step, just to free up a little bit of space for us. So we have 4x equals 32. Okay, divide both sides by 4, and then we finish up with x equals 8. All right. Okay, then we can go ahead and plug in to our other equation here. So we have y equals 8 plus 3, and that'll give us y equals 11. Okay, and then that's it. We found both of those equations. So our solution is going to be the ordered pair 8, 11. And that is it for that problem. All right, so after that, after you've finished wrapping up writing that problem down, we are going to go ahead and do got it problems C and D. Okay, this is the last thing that you need to do for this video lesson. So once you have finished those two got it problems, you are good to go on your notes for today. All right, so that's it. Once you've finished it, hopefully those go well. And then I will see you guys in class.